Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to Monday. And it's the 16th day of October. We're hanging out to kick off a full week of, quite frankly, after a little bit of a planned break in October that usually happens at the same time, almost the same place. But we had some good times, did we not? Friday, Saturday morning, it was great to have a little coffee time with you over there in the mountains and see what everybody's doing, and a little bit of interplay with the chat room and give you a glimpse into the really nothing that was going on. All the important things are really almost nothing if you think about it. But now we're back to the grind. But it's a grind that I love. It really is. I always know we're timing vacations perfectly, where toward the last couple of days of vacation, you're like, okay, I had enough. I think I've had enough. Let's go back. Let's get back into the groove again. Let's bring on to the next set of the year. And let's keep this cycle going. And here we are chilling tonight. It's just going to be you and I. I'm going to be taking calls. I have some things I want to talk about. There's some things left over from last week, but that were expanded on over the weekend. Obviously, there's, the obvious. What we left off with Michael Collins on Tuesday night, a little bit of the war gaming that was going on and what has been presented to us over the last 5 days. So I think that we'll have a good time tonight. And I hope we get a lot of your calls. The number is 914-200-0269. That's the general line. We don't have any specialty hotlines tonight. We'll be doing we'll have some topics tomorrow. We got a great guest coming in on Thursday, is the 19th. Great guest coming on Thursday. So Wednesday night, we're going to have a good topical show as well, too. Of course, it's the last 2 weeks of October, so we've got to get nice and spooky with it. And I've got some things that we can sink our teeth into tonight on that end. A doppelganger, very strange doppelganger story that somebody sent in to me that we can get to if we have the time. And there's a few other things there too. A strange dream, a prophetic dream perhaps. I've got that and more. But otherwise, I just really want to hear what's been going on with you guys. And anything goes with the open lines tonight for the most part. I don't really have anything I'm tied to. Whenever there's been a big break, the first thing I like doing is just getting back into the swing of things with everybody and seeing how you've been. So I'm glad that hopefully you found your regular spot. Nobody's sitting in it, because that sucks. But welcome back. Thank you to my sponsor, BlueMonsterPrep.com. I was using Blue Monster Prep's the two-way radios. I got the Midland radios that I got from them all weekend. Man, when we go up into the mountains, I love putting those radios to use. Love putting them to use. Because, there's no real consistent coverage of anything. You don't have a lot of coverage up there. So especially if we're all getting in the car and we're driving to a restaurant in Lake George or something like that, or just going to the grocery store to get stuff to cook for that evening. Connect all of the cars with those radios, and it's a lot of fun because, of course, talking on the radio with people like Matt and Mike and Anthony and all that, you can imagine the kind of stuff that's being said. It's a lot of fun. I actually look forward to going up there just for being able to talk with people in other cars on the radio. Don't do that very often down here. So thank you to Blue Monster Prep. Blue Monster Prep, practicing with their equipment over the weekend. Get to BlueMonsterPrep.com. We are also going to be announcing a coffee. Quite frankly, coffee. And I was very, very upset that I had to whittle this down to one because 4 companies sent stuff out to us. But I'm going to give very loving thanks to everybody in the meantime, but we're going to have a coffee to announce within maybe about a week or so, because we just wanted to do one more quick taste testing, and then we'll have something to tell you about. But that'll be in time for the holidays. Hopefully we have some new merch by the time November hits, and there's more on my to-do list, but thank you guys. It's good to have you. At 8:30 tonight, we've got the 3rd session of Book Club with Jay Dyer from Mario Puzo's The Godfather. And it's so great. I read all of my chapters during the break in the mountains. I've even been sneaking. I can't help myself. I was like, Frank, just read the book and then watch the movies. No, I've been watching the movies in between each reading. I'm like on overdrive right now. It's such an incredibly renewed experience because you get so much in between. Especially, it's almost like seeing the night sky in the mountains as opposed to night sky down here in the suburbs and the urbanized areas. You know, you get your Big Dipper. You can find Orion's belt. Draco will pop out and say hello from time to time. But when you get somewhere where the light pollution is nil, and all of a sudden the black in between the stars is nothing but, it's just infinity. It's infinity. And Aurora got to see the stars for the first time. Okay, because last year, you know, she was just about 2. And she was just sleeping by 7 or so. We would bring her out, and she didn't really have any interest. But this time, when we brought her outside, she's seen stars, she's seen planets before, but it's like the big ones, the bright Polaris, things like that. You know, Mars, things that really stand out, Venus. But this time, when she looked up, man, she was shaking with excitement. You know, calling her, like, look. It was great. It was great. And that's exactly what it's like when you read when you have a book that is translated so beautifully into a movie, and then you go back and forth and you can see everything in between. Oh man, the enhancements, it's fantastic. Anywho, I would also like to get anybody out there to send me emails about any kind of strange customs or traditions that you have, especially around this time of year. I want to hear about strange customs and traditions. Anything that has to do with local folklore, that's always very nice. And I'm going to be printing out or publishing a couple of really nice threads soon on the forum that will go hand in hand with that. But in the meantime, let's just jump into what we know best at this time of night. A little bit of grab bagging, shall we? Yes, indeed. First one up. Oh, I was watching a little bit of the Astros-Rangers game last night. Good job, Rangers. I'm pulling for you all the way. Last time I checked that they were beating the Astros again, the lousy bastards. But Astros fans, let me just say, what the hell do you think about the ugly Oxy corporate sponsor patch on the jersey sleeve? I mean, I thought that the Nike logo getting added to the right breast of all MLB players was disgusting enough, but man, Astros jersey looks like it's a NASCAR jacket right now. Disgusting. Hopefully they get eliminated so the rest of the country doesn't have to look at those fucking jerseys for too much longer. Oh, anyway, moving on to the next thing. Here's a headline that everybody's going to relate to. New York Post. I was too embarrassed to ask about the smell in my bedroom. It was a danger sign nobody should ignore. Something seemed fishy. A young wife in Scotland confessed that her marital bedroom reeked of old fish for weeks before she screwed up the courage to seek advice, the Sun reported. Now, Claudia Anderson, 26 years old, wishes that she hadn't waited and is doing her best to warn others of the troubling reason behind the olfactory assault. What Anderson had worried might have been something embarrassing turned out, in fact, to be something very dangerous. Why would she worry it was something embarrassing? I kind of like what is she saying? Was it coming from her or something like that? Wouldn't you know? I think you can cross that one off the list pretty quick, because they don't get into what the embarrassing thing could be. The unpleasant odor was being caused by an electrical issue that could have caused a fire in her home. The sheepish spouse, who goes by Miss Claudia on TikTok, of course she has a TikTok, posted a video of her cautionary tale late last month and has since garnered over 33,000 views. Fishy smell in your bedroom? Call an electrician. Well, for some of you. For others, take a shower. So, I don't know exactly what causes the fishy smell. Maybe it's just like ozone. I don't know. But either way, an electrician came over and they found it, and all was well. That's what it was. They caught it right before it burst into flames. Don't need another tragedy to befall Scotland. All right, well, here's another thing that I think was probably one of the better things to happen over the weekend. It was Mike Pence being called gay. Mike Pence was being accused of being gay at a campaign stop. He's still campaigning? What's going on with this? Mike Pence was heckled. Somebody screams out at him, "You promised today was our coming out day." Let's take a listen to this. I'm sure that Pence was not ready to do this on this day in particular, but it happened anyway. Sometimes the day chooses you.
We're running because we simply believe, with all humility, that I'm the most qualified, the most experienced, the most tested conservative seeking the Republican nomination.
Most qualified, experienced, and tested homosexual that is on the Republican field right now.
Mike Pence, are you going to tell them?
We commit our campaign to the American people,
today was our coming out day.
We commit our
Mike Pence
we commit our future
gay.
to.
We're gay. Here's the proof. Here's the proof.
Excuse me, sir.
Mike Pence, I'll admit your John Deere is bigger than mine.
I apologize for that. Please go ahead.
Where's the proof? I want to see the proof.
We don't know what the future holds for our.
I'll admit your John Deere is bigger than mine. I thought this. Hold on. I want to hear that. Let's go back to it.
Here's the proof.
Wait.
Our campaign.
Tell them.
Commit our campaign to.
I love that. Tell them. I love the whining. Tell them. Like he's a jilted lover.
The American people,
today was our coming out day.
We commit our
Mike Pence
commit
and I
our
are
future
gay.
to.
Mike Pence and I are gay. This, we need more of this. This will heal the world. I really do believe this will heal the world. This is what we need.
We're gay.
Excuse me 1 second.
We're gay.
Proof. Here's the proof.
Excuse me, sir.
Mike Pence.
We don't know what the future.
Is that the end of it?
The people of the Granite State. We entrust our.
He just went on. Just wanted to make sure that didn't pay it any mind. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. I wanted to see the proof. What was the proof? Was it like, one of those hidden Braveheart marriages? Can you imagine if there is video of Mike Pence having a secret Braveheart marriage to a man in like the woods somewhere? He's got a little wreath of flowers around his head. Oh gosh, please let it be true. All right, well, moving on, I'm sure you saw, maybe you haven't seen some of the news. This is a quick hit from the Washington Post. Judge Chutkan issued a limited gag order for Trump in the D.C. January 6th case. Tanya Chutkan said Monday she will impose a limited gag order on former President Donald Trump in advance of his election interference trial, essentially committing election interference by taking away his free speech in the middle of a sham election. Isn't it ironic? But irony is all they have. And it was requested by prosecutors, so of course she's going to concede. The gag order, she said, is a ruling issued from the bench after hearing will prohibit all parties from statements publicly targeting special counsel Jack Smith, his staff, her staff, or any other court personnel. Oh, what pussies. What pussies. They can go out there and they can concoct this crap and drag an entire nation and in turn a planet along for the ride into the mud. But don't talk about us. Don't say anything disparaging. Freaks. You pussy freaks. Statements about the families of those individuals are absolutely prohibited as well. So there you have it. Rich Barris had something to say about this one. Rich said this on Twitter. The gag order issued against Donald Trump is election interference. D.C. jury pool is already tainted. It's just tainted against the defendant. Jack Smith, already known for his dubious record, is now free to leak like a sieve to a corrupt media, further influencing an already tainted juror pool. Voters are on the verge of again electing Donald Trump president. They are doing everything in their power to stop it, to stop voters. It's a banana republic. Well, out of all the things that you never expected them to I don't know if any of you had the return of Islamic terrorism as one of the possible reasons for a 2024 election disruption on your bingo card, but it seems really, really possible that is going to happen. Here is a little bit from what's his name, the guy with the dick for a nose, Director Wray. There he is with the Lego, another one with Lego Man hair. That pops off in one click, that hair right there. Probably, I bet you any money, what kind of cologne do you think he uses? I bet you any money he uses Brute. I bet you any money Christopher Wray uses Brute cologne, buys it at CVS for $7.99 a gallon. That's what he smells like, cheap bastard. FBI Director Wray issues an urgent warning. This is from End Wokeness. Hamas-style terror attacks might be coming to the U.S. soil. Good thing we have a secure border, right? All right, listen.
In this heightened environment, there's no question we're seeing an increase in reported threats, and we've got to be on the lookout, especially for lone actors who may take inspiration from recent events.
Especially for lone actors. You know, that's the crazy thing about this latest resurrection of Islamic terrorism, is that in the past there was no distinction. Nobody was really tiptoeing around it. But now it's one of those things where see something, say something, but watch what you say about what you see, and let's try to create new caveats about what's going on here. It's so crazy. It's so crazy, this nonsense. We got to get into a little bit of what's happened in the Middle East since Tuesday, and then I'll open up the lines for whatever kind of calls you have, because this is obviously not going away and is really just a new appendage of the situation in Eastern Europe that we were wondering how that was going to be morphed into something else. It wasn't going to go away either, because ultimately what this is really about, at least in large part, is that there needs to be something. There needs to be something that gives everybody a little bit of an out, a little bit of some wiggle room in avoiding responsibility for the collapse of the dollar. It has to be. I mean, just something to throw the scent off, just a little bit. I don't think anybody out there really thinks that we can afford wars, even though Janet Yellen and the Pentagon says that there's enough weapons for everybody. You get a weapon. You get a weapon. Everybody's getting rockets. We can give it to Ukraine. We can give it to Israel. We can give it to ourselves when we have to fight all the people that they're fighting, even though we're already fighting the people that they're fighting. We are them. We're everybody. We're everywhere. We're nowhere. And we've got the money and the rockets for it all. Isn't that incredible? Well, I'll tell you one thing. The dollar can't handle it. There is no such thing as a dollar, really. Going up to the mountains over the last week and going grocery shopping, we would do damage to our bodies in prior years. We go 5-6 years back, and even as early as just maybe 3 years ago. Well, no, 2020 we didn't go up. 2019, 21, even then, really irresponsible with what we did to our bodies up there. It was just pig out time, and we loved it. But we spent such considerably less. Well, no. We put considerably less food in our stuff, in our baskets. We bought such considerably less food, and we were making lean choices. There's still some fun to be had. Plenty of ice cream from Stewart's up there. Stewart's ice cream is pretty damn good. It's not as good as Haagen-Dazs in my estimation, or Longford's, which is a local phenomenon around here, but still very good. I had the coffee cream and fudge. The coffee cream fudge. It's like coffee with fudge. It's just so good. There was another one there. I know I'm off topic. There was another. Mike got a raspberry cheesecake. Raspberry cheesecake ice cream. I had one of that. That was pretty good. There was a blueberry one with not toasted almond, which is what I like from this other place. But there's a blueberry and cookie dough combination. That was pretty good. The Death by Chocolate was great. I mean, listen, we can go on and on about ice cream flavors. Don't get me started. The point of me saying this was we bought significantly less food and we paid at least just as much. The first day we just went for food for breakfast, the next day's breakfast and that night's dinner. That's the first night. And they said, okay, and then tomorrow we'll go there and we'll buy for the rest of the week. The first night was $312. Now, granted, we had to be enough eggs and bacon and sausage for, 8 people or so. But damn, man. Don't let anybody tell you that we have enough room in the budget. We have enough money for a war on multiple fronts. We ain't got nothing. That was in the middle of the Adirondacks on an off-season booking, all right? Disgusting. Anyway, got to watch out for Islamic terror, but but just lone wolves, individuals who are just out of their minds, that don't actually have any kind of real connection to the faith, of course.
Commit violence of their own. Be on the lookout, especially for lone actors who may take inspiration from recent events to commit violence of their own.
Right.
So I'd encourage you to stay vigilant, because as the first line of defense, protecting our communities, you're often the first to see the signs that someone may be mobilizing to violence.
Right. And then what do you do from there? I don't know. Mobilizing to violence. So we got that gem over the weekend as well. All right, let's jump into this one, shall we? We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
What is up, guys? Mike Collins here from Wandering Wolf Productions at Easter Island, and you are watching Quite Frankly.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
It's getting groovy now. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's great to have you on. If you would please do me a favor, give this episode a thumbs up if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble. Share the link with everyone you know, and keep dumping those, quite frankly, superchat.com super chats on me. Quite frankly, superchat.com. That is how everybody can take part in the show, and no matter what platform you're watching the show on. And keep dumping your love on one another. I'm going to get around to your calls. I'm going to get around to all of your submissions on, quite frankly, superchat.com, and the Rumble rants and the gold pills on quitefrankly.tv, powered by Foxhole, all throughout this abbreviated show, but not too abbreviated. Started a little bit early. We got to end around 8:30, and then we're on to book club with Jay Dyer. So let's get going. So I just made you listen to a little bit of Chris Wray from over the weekend, which was something in itself. And then I had to pick up any time that I see that James Howard Kunstler goes and makes something and publishes especially a brief article. Oh, I got to grab it. He's a wonderful writer, and I think he really encapsulates a lot. And it adds to what we just watched. The headline is, who do they think they're kidding? A din of war drums beating hasn't completely drowned out the barrage of lying bullshit issued by U.S. deep state blobsters in the effort to keep reality at bay from a citizenry gone restive and aggrieved over the seemingly deliberate ruination of our country by the people who run it. On Thursday, FBI Director Chris Wray and Homeland Security Chief Alejandro Mayorkas, Patrick Bateman, bald Patrick Bateman, that guy, warned Americans that terrorist threats are rising in the U.S. since Hamas attacked Israel October 7th. Mr. Wray explained, here in the U.S., we cannot discount the possibility that Hamas or other foreign terrorist organizations like, white supremacists could exploit the conflict to call on their supporters to conduct attacks on our own soil. But they have to be alert for lone wolves. Lone wolves. Neither of these officials noted that the rising terror threat here had any relation to the thousands of aliens streaming daily across the U.S. border unvetted, or that the agencies under Homeland Security were helping to distribute them into every corner of America by plane and bus, giving them free cell phones, loaded debit cards, and other rewards for breaking the law. And that lone wolf bit, is it possible that any number of them actually arrived as trained and pre-organized cadres or squads? How would we know? Most of them are military-aged young men. These are unreasonable questions to ask, apparently, and if Hamas was so supernaturally successful in secretly planning the mass murder and kidnapping operation of the 10/7, the October 7th, from Gaza, that the world's supposedly top intel agencies were blindsided as it rolled out, why should Americans have any confidence that the FBI has a clue of what any of those unvetted border jumpers mutts are up to here? Yeah, well, we were talking about that before. That was one of in the early goings of this. Yeah, that's October 7th. It's 2 Saturdays ago at this point. And the little time that we had with each other last week on Monday and Tuesday, we got into we didn't see it coming. The most advanced intelligence sharing apparatus in the world. Many times it is very hard to find where the CIA ends and the Mossad begins, vice versa. And we're talking about a post 9/11 world by 2 decades now. All right? Living with the powers, the authority that has been seized, the overreach. In 2 years, it has become normalized, the intelligence gathering and sharing. We'll get into that, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. But continuing on, since the FBI has been so preoccupied, the duration of the Joe Biden regime tracking down every native-born living soul who attended the January 6th riot at the Capitol, instead of using the agency's assets to monitor alien networking, you have to wonder why Mr. Wray even bothers to comment on the current situation. He can only embarrass or incriminate himself more deeply. One thing for sure is not happening: any effort by Mr. Mayorkas and his 260,000 employees to make the U.S.-Mexico border any less porous. If it hadn't occurred to them yet, they might consider closing down the U.S.-funded United Nations operation in Central America with help from several international NGOs that is running way stations to transport aliens north to our border in 100-plus bus fleets at a time, taking every possible advantage to accelerate the flow. Yes. Again, there it is. I guess we'll have to see what happens. But he goes on, and he's almost done with this. That's why I love his articles. Speaking of mind-blowing bullshit emanating from a different pseudopod of DC Blob, former CIA Director Leon Panetta chimed in with Fox News' Brett Baer last week to declare he still thinks that Hunter Biden's laptop was a Russian disinfo operation. Mr. Panetta was a co-signer of the notorious letter from 50 other former U.S. intel bigwigs on October 2020, a few weeks before the election, organized by former acting CIA Director Mike Morrell, to gaslight voters after the New York Post published the existence of the laptop from hell, and some of its sordid contents tended to incriminate the Biden family for foreign influence peddling. And there's so many other things going on here, but He'll say, we'll learn this week whether escalation of the war involving Israel and its enemies can be averted without giving Hamas a pass on consequences for its recent murder spree. We'll learn whether a meaningful opposition against the party of chaos can organize around a new House Speaker. We'll learn whether that same assembly can begin the process of laying out a president's crimes for all of its nation to see, including the sizable cohort of citizens who relish official lying and being lied to. Well, obviously, a lot of that is being written tongue-in-cheek because I don't think there's a reasonable expectation for anything like that to happen. Anything good. And it's just nuts. That's Christopher. And you know the other thing there, too, is there's so much. There is so much. There's so much to say about the presentation of this new chapter in the war, which is totally connected to what's going on in Ukraine. So much to say, especially on CNN. You know, in many ways, CNN, and I have not watched really anything aside from some of the highlights. I want to play you a clip that I played last Monday the 9th, when I got home. I did the late night stream. In many ways, CNN hasn't really gotten much better on the production of their war reporting since the Gulf War sitcom aired. You know, in the early 90s. Now, I played this last week, but just really examine John Kirby's face and listen to him pretend to cry with Jake Tapper over here. Jake Tapper, who has fully embraced the Keith Olbermann Portland, Oregon coffeehouse lesbian look. And here, this is shortly after everything started popping off with Israel. Okay, in Israel. It's going back and forth. Well, listen to this. It's 52 seconds long. Listen to John Kirby try to make himself cry.
I mean, the images that we're seeing of children kidnapped, of young women who have been abducted, who have blood in their pants because they've presumably been repeatedly raped.
He's already biting his lip. He's already biting.
It's horrifying. There's been a lot of death and destruction in that region, but I've never seen anything like this.
I'm sorry. It's very. Excuse me. Very difficult to look at these images, Jay. And the human cost. And these are human beings. They're family members. They're friends. They're loved ones.
Right.
Cousins, brothers, sisters.
Right.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I apologize.
No, apologize. He didn't even cry when it was made clear to all of us that he was in possession of intelligence that could have saved American soldiers from being blown up in Afghanistan when all that was going on with the pullout in 2021. Why would anyone believe that these tears are real? And they're not even tears. He's pressing his lips to get fucking amateur. Seriously. Amateur. Murderer over here pretending to cry. You know, this is the kind of shit, you know, I'm sure that there's a lot of destruction going on out there right now. I'm sure that there's a lot of destruction, there's a lot of chaos, and that people are dying. But what we are presented with constantly is completely mutually exclusive to what's going on. And man, terrible. Whoever the hell's on the stage crew needs to be fired. Didn't even cry when it was when he was the one responsible for the deaths. And then, of course, you know, the one thing we didn't touch last week that was heated in debate over the weekend was the story of beheaded babies. Which, number one, what a horrible thought. Number one, horrible thought. And in war, children die as collateral damage all the time. Whether they're executed or not, it is a horrible, horrible thought. But you know what? The reports of babies in incubators, that same thing that sold the Gulf War to the public and that ended up being a lie, the first thing I thought of was, this is a horrible, terrible thought. And I would never even think to ask for proof, because why the hell would I, you know? But it's just going to have to remain a nightmarish possibility unfolding over there, perhaps. But I'm sorry. I'm a little jaded. And I am also flabbergasted at the sight of leftists shedding a tear over reports of butchered babies. Why are you crying? Talking about John Kirby and his crocodile tears. Because, is it because the mothers wanted these babies if they did, in fact, get put to death? Is that why? Therefore, because the mothers wanted them, they are human and worthy of being mourned? Is that the situation going on here? Because if those mothers who just lost children didn't actually want to be mothers, then there is absolutely no difference between an Arab militant and a surgeon at Planned Parenthood taking the child apart. None whatsoever. So, you would think that the war reports itself would be enough to churn your stomach, but I'm telling you, quietly observing the people around you react to reports and everything else can be far worse. It can be far more stomach-turning and churning just to watch people around you react, especially if you know them and know things that they've said in the past, stances they've taken. You're like, what the who are you pretending for? Or are you that self-unaware? So there's a lot going on. There was this one guy I was watching on Canadian Prepper Channel. His name is, what is his name? Rafi Farber? I forget. Anyway, he's an Israeli. I believe he is. Well, I think he's an Israeli patriot of some point. But he is dubious about what the hell's going on. Yeah, Rafi Farber. And, I've had a couple of followers and audience members of this show who live in Israel that have gotten in touch with me, and they have been concerned as well. They have expressed that they believe these are all deep state wars, and they know that they're caught in the middle of all this as well. Well, here's a 2.5 to 3 minute clip taken from a larger 60-minute broadcast on the Canadian Prepper Channel on YouTube. I think it's pretty interesting, and maybe it'll set the table and inspire some calls on this particular topic. Then again, like I said, when the call's open, it is anything goes. I just want to see what you guys have been doing for a week. All right, here we go. Listen to this.
So what I conclude from that is that something high up in the Israeli government, I don't know who, I don't know what, and again, this is speculation, somebody knew about this and allowed it to happen. I don't know if it was Netanyahu. I don't know if it was somebody else. I don't know if it was a traitor. But then you have to ask yourself the question, why would they allow this to happen? Why would Israel allow 1,000 Jews to be murdered and 150 Jews to be kidnapped when the purpose of the state of Israel is to protect Jews? That is the purpose of its existence. So why would they allow this to happen? Well, some speculation, and this was my father's speculation, I think it's incorrect, is that is an Israeli pretext to destroy the Gaza Strip and retake it and resettle it with Jews. If that were the case, they would have done that already. Gaza can be destroyed in 10 minutes. We have enough firepower to destroy the whole thing. So then what is the purpose of it? Well, if you think about this logically, America wants to go to war, or the deep state of America wants to go to war. Whoever's in charge of it, Biden is the puppet, whatever the deep state is, whoever's really deep in charge of there, they need a war to drum up support for themselves, to drum up support for the establishment, because what we saw after COVID is that there was a coalition forming of people that understood what happened there, and they are trying to disarm the deep state, and they need to distract us again with another hateful attack of something and get people focused there, and so that America can lead another war and possibly attack Russia or Syria. So what we have now is the American aircraft carrier Gerald Ford, the biggest aircraft carrier ever built, the most expensive, the most mishuchal, the most developed, sophisticated weaponry, is now on its way to Israel's coast, and it just happened to be in the neighborhood. And what better way than to use Israel as a staging point to invade Lebanon or Syria and provoke Russia that way, get involved, start some kind of war to strengthen the deep state in the U.S. So
okay, well, right there, I'm going to say very interesting, and I think that he's got a lot of the parts of the puzzle, and not to say that I understand the entire thing as well, But it's a little ridiculous to say that Israel is doing the bidding of the United States. That is a little ridiculous. If there's anything going on here, there will be coordinated partnership movements. I can believe that there is coordination. I do not think that this is being done so that Israel can do the U.S. Deep state a favor. Okay, who knows the level of coordination goes. Definitely, there's the pathway through Syria to Russia. It's all connected. It's a way to link all the wars together and expand the battlefield and God knows what else. But I think I think that's an interesting thing. I do. So the pieces are there in my estimation, but I don't think that's the hierarchy of things. There's a couple more seconds here.
So what I'm saying is this. If Israel is going to call on its soldiers, on my friends that I know, on Jews to invade the Gaza Strip on foot and sacrifice themselves, what needs to happen is that Israeli soldiers need to refuse orders en masse to invade the Gaza Strip. And this is my thinking. They must not allow this to happen. This war, in my thinking, has to be won. There is a wound. There is a wound that is festering in the Gaza Strip, full of blood. It is a festering wound, and it needs to be sealed. That means Israel needs to win the war before the American aircraft carrier gets here to stage an attack on whatever they want to stage, and we need to stop World War III before it starts by ending the situation now before America gets there.
See, that's where I get lost. That's where I get lost. And it's also a pretty keen observation and a very open-ended question as to why it could very well be that an event was allowed to happen that would only put Jews in danger when the state is only there to protect Jews. I think that it was always going, like you know me, I think that it was always created to become a place of constant sacrifice, so that this would be milked to the very last end, and of course, we're only at the beginning of this. So I'm sure Gerald Ford has already gotten out there, parked somewhere. But that's what I have for you. That's what I have for you there. Just a little bit of opening thoughts. And I'd like to take some of your calls and see what's going on with you all. Let's just take a really quick break. And when we come back, I don't know, I've got some stories from the audience. I got some weird things, a doppelganger story, and I want to see what's on your mind from the weekend. Observations, this and that and this. Get your phone calls ready. 914-200-0269. We will be right back.
In a desperate attempt to fill 24 hours of programming, here's some bullshit that happened somewhere today. We've got some footage here of the bullshit, which began just after 3 o'clock this afternoon, when residents in this neighborhood were shocked to see this fairly common thing happening. An attractive witness described the event in breathless terms.
I went to my window and I was like, whoa, there's some bullshit happening.
That happened right over there. I'm an older man, so you can trust what I say.
Authorities in special uniforms rushed to the scene to stand around while our cameras filmed them. Our reporter Keith Collins joins us now live from the scene of the bullshit through the use of expensive technology. Good to be with you again, Keith. We have a colorful graphic here that shows instances of bullshit like this are on the rise. Is that right?
Yes, although why is unclear. Some say it's because of one fucking reason. Others say it's because of some other fucking reason. I talked to this random expert on the subject who told me this thing you're about to hear him say right after he points at a piece of paper.
I spent my entire life attending the nation's most prestigious schools to talk about bullshit like this. I'm really just happy to be on TV.
Now let's see if we can drag this out a little longer by showing emails written by some of our viewers. I once saw some stuff kind of like the shit you're talking about happen. I have nothing more to add. Another person says, I am angry that things like this happen. I get mad about every bullshit thing I see. So obviously a lot of opinions there to make this story seem somewhat meaningful.
Oh, absolutely, Glenn. This bullshit has some broader implications. Here's a list of tips on how to avoid bullshit happening to you.
And here's some footage of Congress.
Yes, I see that.
Well, thank you, Keith. Let us know if there are any updates on this bullshit story from there.
There's no way there will be.
Very good. We'll check back with you in an hour anyway.
I'm just some fucking guy.
When we return, we'll look at live footage of a car chase taken from a helicopter and free associate about what's going on.
Conspiracy.
Who's that nifty new dreamboat that has the dollies flipping their lid?
It's Frankie.
That's right. Join your Made in the Shade host of Quite Frankly. Quite Frankly streams live Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 Eastern, and everywhere you find your favorite podcast. Goose it on over. For everything else, it's quitefrankly.tv.
Frankie. Woo, woo, woo.
We're gonna make a fortune with this place. How fast are they? Well, we clocked the T-Rex at 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
There you go. We have a T-Rex. Well,
Put your head between your knees.
Dr. Grant. My dear Dr. Sattler. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
All right. I want to hear from people. What the hell is going on? 914-200-0269. Call in with whatever. You don't have to call in about the war. I just want to put that out there. And I think that'll, I don't know, hopefully it's the last I talk about it this week. Because I can't keep doing updates. And your whole damn day is taken up. Let's see. Let's take a call. All right, what's going on? John.
Hey, man, quite frankly there. That was pretty cool, man. Jurassic Park, dinosaurs. I knew that's what was coming next.
Yes, yeah, oh, absolutely.
It wasn't on my bingo card, but, you know, we need dinosaurs, I think.
I think that dinosaurs would be a great thing on the bingo card for 2024 if they came back.
Dinosaurs for peace. You know, they can, you know, secure the border, you know, fix everything.
You know, it's a great job. John, you know, that is a...
Jobs. Hey, would you like to say hello to my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, she's running away. I know you do. I want her one of these
please put her...
Oh, she's shy right now.
John, put her on the phone. John, put her on the phone.
I'm trying to. She's peeing right now, so she's too excited. I gotta wait.
Wait, she's actually on the toilet?
Yeah, no. I'm it's serious. So, is there any fish in that pond up there in the Catskills?
Is there what?
Or wherever you were at, the Adirondacks, rather. Are there any fish in that pond? I've seen
Fish?
the pond picture.
Yeah. There's
you know, when you do your show in the afternoon or something.
Yes, there's rainbow trout.
Catch any fish?
There's rainbow trout in the pond. Yes.
Did you teach your girl how to fish yet?
Oh well, we cast a few lines, but nothing. We didn't get anything. And then again,
you didn't get anything yet.
She was doing it with her uncle.
She wants to say hello.
Okay,
You got to say hello. She's talking about Zozo. She'll be done now.
Okay, let me talk to her. Let me talk to her.
Say hello to Frankie.
No, John.
I'm just going to see the dog.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, madam. Hello. This is Frank. What's your name?
Can't go visit Anna Michelle.
Anna, let me ask you something. Your husband is very, very high energy. How do you do it?
Oh, I take a lot of drugs.
I was gonna say, how long have you been married to John from Connecticut?
We met, and 9 days later we got married.
9.
And we've been married for 23 years.
Wow. So listen. Tell me about those 9 days, because you meet, and then 9 days later, less than 2 weeks later, you're married to John. What was it like?
No, it was literally nine days.
Okay, yeah, less than 2 weeks.
We had to, let's see, it was during when Amtrak was running around in all the mail, right?
Okay.
Remember that?
So 2002?
2001?
2001 too, yeah, toward the end.
Yeah. So we were going to have, I don't know, we met, and he pinched me and thought I was a hologram girl. You know what I mean? He pinched me to see if I was real. And it hurt, actually.
Okay.
And so I was actually going on a date with his best friend, and I was meeting Willie for the first time. And I just knew, and he just knew that, you know, he kissed me across the table at the bar we were at. And the guy that I was with, which, you know, we weren't in any kind of relationship. We just sort of met also. And he was like pulling my hair, and Willie's kissing me, and it was so funny. And then they got in a fight. Like, I never knew guys fought over chicks, and it was so funny because I had to, like, interrupt their fight. Hold it, stop, please stop. I need my coat. Because Willie and I had changed coats because his coat was warmer. And it was just...
Okay, so who did tell me about the severity of the fight. Who won? Like, was it a real fist fight?
It was like, old friend Tim is like way bigger than Willie, and had him by the throat in the air. And Willie, you know, they were fighting. I mean, cockfighting, I called it. I mean, you know, they were fighting over me.
But Willie, John Willie, he won? He won the fight?
Well, I told him to knock shit off.
Okay.
You know, I was going to kick their ass.
Okay, so how many days later after the fight were you guys married?
Oh, 9 days.
So then you just what? You went to the Justice of the Peace, or you went to a church? What did you do? How'd you?
Well, we were going to go get married with the big wedding and all that stuff, but everybody told us that we couldn't get married because of anthrax in Connecticut, anyway.
There's always something. There was always something. Yeah, I know.
Well, so we're like, nobody's going to tell me what day I can get married on.
You're right.
So we figured we were going to get married on a Monday, because this was I think a Sunday or Saturday. And no, it was a Sunday. And so he figured out we could go to Vermont and get married on a Monday. So that's what we did. We drove to Wilmington, Vermont. And you would not believe this, Frank. There was no snow in this town, and normally this is a town full of snow at this time of year, because it was in November. And it was right after Thanksgiving.
Did you bring witnesses? Did you bring witnesses, or did they have them for you?
No, the entire town had absolutely nothing to do. So the Justice of the Peace lady, she had a chapel in the bar, below the bar, in a really nice chapel that overlooked the river in Vermont. And the entire bar was our wedding party. And then the entire town threw us a wedding party, feast, food, fed the entire people. Mondays, Meatloaf Monday. So, that's what we had for our dinner. And everything was paid for, the hotel. Everybody pitched in the entire town of Wilmington, I think it's called. Washington, maybe Washington.
Wow.
Vermont. Anyways, the whole town pitched in.
Wow.
I mean, guys that are construction guys that didn't have anything to do, they went and got their Polaroid cameras out of their trucks that they're supposed to take pictures of the site. They took our wedding pictures.
Well, Ann, you said your name is Ann or Annie?
Well, I go by Hannah Michelle on your shows when I log in.
Well, Hannah Michelle, I got to say, this is. I'm glad I got you on the phone, because this is a very, very illuminating What an amazing story that is. And it's been 20 years, and you guys have just been
23 years.
Duking it out.
Shut up. I'm back.
Just having a blast for 23 years.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
okay.
Go back outside. You want me to tell the Frank?
No,
Get out.
no,
I used to train Stallion, so he's just kind of a.
Okay.
I know how to train Stallion.
Oh, so you know how to break horses.
Well, no, training stallions is a whole nother field of horse expertise.
So you don't have to break them?
Well, you have to make sure they don't kill you while you're training them.
Okay, gotcha. Because it doesn't sound like you've broken John too. He's still got a lot of energy there.
He has a lot of spirit, but you know, he's definitely someone you don't want to mess with. But he knows, like, he really believes in wearing the armor of God.
Well,
are you there?
Oh, yeah, I am. Well,
Okay.
you know what?
I mean,
I appreciate.
He's complicated.
Oh, he definitely is. And I'm glad that we got a little bit of background from you. But thank you so much for the call, and I hope that we get you back on again soon.
Oh, and then another thing, since you're right there and you're talking about AI stuff, okay, you know that I worked at Area 51.
The what?
Area 51.
No, like the actual place you had like clearance and stuff.
I worked there at the Skunk Works.
You were behind the fence that everybody else gets shot at?
Yeah.
And okay, and what did you do?
I designed a Joint Strike Fighter.
You really did?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any alien technology?
I have been in the basements.
And you can tell me things freely at this point?
Well, the shit's on TV now, so the Blue Brook Project is on TV. It's a movie on Netflix or somewhere now.
Are there things?
And,
things that to this day you cannot tell me still?
There's some things I can't tell you, yeah.
Okay.
But I've seen things that you'll never forget. Like, I believe in aliens, okay? They are little guys. They weren't really kind of green. They were more pale looking.
Oh, so
they were dead.
You've seen the bodies?
Yeah. I'll probably get killed now.
Well, all right. Well, listen.
It's a lark, we're all joking. Yeah.
What?
That's how we're playing that.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's it. It's just.
Well, Hannah Michelle, I've got some more questions for you, but we're gonna have to save it for another time because it's a shorter show tonight. Thank you so much for being out with me, though. Okay.
Yeah, I talked to you one time a while ago because I wanted to make sure that he wasn't just talking to some weirdos.
Well, I am a
You
weirdo.
guys are all...
Yes, I'm not totally normal, but your husband's on another level. And thank you for calling in tonight. All right.
All right, love you, Frank.
All right, love you too. Good night. I think the dossier just got that much thicker on John from Connecticut. Okay? It got that much thicker. The dossier just got that much thicker. Wow. Open lines. Wow. 9 days, huh? This has got to happen. Meeting John from Connecticut, getting into a bar fight and saying this has got to happen at least within the next 10 days. And if we can't get it done here, then we got to go to Vermont and have the entire town bear witness and actually put together that was probably better than most weddings. Can you imagine going to Vermont having no plan except I just want to get married to this guy or to this gal, and then leaving Vermont having had the entire town hold you up on their shoulders? My gosh. All right. No, she said 9 days. She didn't say 9 dates. She said 9 days. Because I said, that's less than 2 weeks. She goes, yeah, no, it was 9 days. Anyway. All right, let's take a call. Welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Frank. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Who's this?
This is Jen.
Hi, Jen. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's great to be back. I was listening to your last caller talk about, I guess, being in Area 51 or situations like that.
Uh-huh.
As a child, I had been brought to islands off of Long Island, experimented on by, I think it was different, I guess, different sects or departments of the military. And I made it a habit to get into places where I didn't belong. So I had managed at one point, there was some, I think there's a very large underground facility where I managed to get on.
Hello? Hello?
Oh boy. Hello, is this working?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Is this Gen G?
Yes.
Okay. So were you? What do you mean? You were like personally sneaking around?
Oh yes.
Places.
I got into a lot of places I wasn't supposed to.
So where the Montauk Project and stuff was, like Plum Island and Montauk, and is that what you're talking about? Places like that?
I don't remember the exact names of the island. I know that they were off of the island, off of Long Island.
Okay.
I would take a boat out and visit some of the islands. I don't remember exactly which one.
So what was there? What did you see in your little Indiana Jones adventures?
I guess it really depends which one. This particular one that I brought up to you, I had decided, from what I understood about this craft, nobody could get it to function. Nobody could get it to open. It was just, as far as I knew, it was dead. So I decided to go up to this thing and just kind of poke at it, and its door opened. So me being the brat I was, I decided to go inside, and I remember touching the console, and I felt like I got sucked out of my body into the universe.
So
and
okay, so
the next thing
let's stop there. You snuck into this facility, and there was
no. I was already in the facility. I just was exploring it on my own, I guess is the best way to explain.
Okay, so you were brought in by somebody else.
Yeah.
And while you were
that was routine.
While you were in there, you were given some free time, or at least you squirreled away, and you did a little of your own exploring, and you came upon this craft. You said.
Yes.
A craft that nobody up until that point had even had any luck in opening up the door. They didn't know how it worked at all.
To my knowledge, that was my understanding of it, yes.
And you were able to interface with it, and the door opened, and you entered into the cockpit, and instead of the craft actually leaving, it was more of a vehicle to put you into an out-of-body experience instead.
I don't know if that was what the vehicle was intended for, but I believe that's what happened.
Okay. Now, what happened? Well, after this concluded, I mean, you were shot out of your body or so, and you said you're out and about, and you're doing your thing. How did this experience conclude? Obviously, somebody had to wrangle you back in. Did you end up right? Was this on autopilot? How were you taken out of the vehicle by force? Did you leave yourself? What happened?
The only thing I remember after being sucked out is waking up on the ground, and I had been told that the craft opened up again on its own, and that they had gotten me out. From what I remember, they said I was in there for 6 days before it opened up, and they were able to get me out. And then they were not able to get it to open up again after.
So you were inside of this vehicle, this object for 6 days, but they had a physical account of the object being there at the base. The object never left the base, but you felt like you were somewhere else, no matter what?
To my understanding, it did not leave the base. It was just me getting out-of-body experience sucked out into somewhere.
Maybe it was a teleportation device.
I don't know. As far as I know, my physical body did not go anywhere. It was just my consciousness that went somewhere.
So how do you what sustains you biologically for that 6 days? Because it's possible to go on 6 days of limited food, but especially water. I mean, you can't go 6 days without water. So what sustains you biologically for that week?
I don't know. When I was taken out of the vehicle, I went under a ton of testing and stuff like that I don't remember very well. So I really don't know. And like I said, I was just told 6 days. I can imagine that they weren't always honest with me about things.
I can imagine. Well, listen, Jen, always very, very interesting and thought-provoking. Maybe next time you get through, we can get another chapter of your your possible interdimensional travels. I would love to get a little bit more on that. You said it sounded like you had more adventures to talk about, but we don't have enough time for all of them tonight. Thank you for the call.
Thanks. Have a good one.
That's something for you guys to think about. And that's right in my neck of the woods. Well, not it's very hard. I mean, if I crossed in a ferry, it's a little bit. That's like a 4-hour drive. Otherwise. Well, okay. Well, who is going to one-up those two calls? Anybody want to try? 914-200-0269. Here's something for you. I got an email. This is a prophetic dream from Zan, signed Z. She said, Frank, here's the scene. It's the late night on the beach. My husband and I are on the 3rd floor of a beach hotel. Next door are my husband's brother and his wife. Down the hall is our friend. Everyone is asleep, but both of us are awake, sitting on the balcony overlooking the ocean. We start to notice lights out on the beach, like tiki torches. That's probably white supremacists. Suddenly, we realize that these figures were amassing on the beach, each holding these tiki torches. They are perfectly lined up, all in black cloaks and hoods. I tell my husband we are being invaded. I'm desperately banging on the walls, trying to wake his brother and his wife because they have the guns. In real life, they fully take advantage of the Second Amendment. I'm also trying to think of a way to warn our friend down the hall that we've been invaded. Question is, invaded by what? But it's too late, she says. They're already in the hotel. Oh, the hooded figures are already in the hotel. These are the worst types of dreams. They're already in the hotel and we are dead. I wake up. This was a dream I had maybe 7 or so years ago, and it's always haunted me. I think about it often, and with the situation in the South and the recent events in my rational brain, they want to think that it is just ridiculous, but yet it's such a vividly scary dream. My intuition tells me otherwise, though. Are they here? Have they been here? With all the madness going on in the world, it's important to focus on faith, self, family, and close community. Good advice that you mention frequently. I love the Alaric show. My father's a military historian. Appreciate what you do. Take care, Z. My question to Z is, are they here? Have they been here? Who are they? It's one thing to say I had a dream about the southern border and there was just just an endless flood of migrants and they are all carrying machetes and they're coming for, whatever. But you're talking about hooded black figures on the beach with tiki torches. That's a little bit, that is out of, they're not streaming across in black hoods and tiki torches at the southern border. It's a little bit different of a feeling there. Feeling's a little bit different. Feel like we're in a different category here. So that's what I would like to hear next. All right, 914-200-0269. I'm going to take a little bit of a intermission. It's a short intermission, as you all know. When we come back, more of your calls and the super chats. And if we have any time, perhaps we'll do this really freaky doppelganger story. And if not, I'll just save it for another night because we have plenty of time to get freaked out from here until Halloween. And then through the rest of the winter as well. Doesn't just stop there. We take a little bit of a severe freak out break in December. I like just being nice and chill, and end of November too. Gratitude, gratefulness, hope. And then in December, and in January, we can get back into the horror, the horror again. I love going from hope to horror. It's a good transition. We'll be right back.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to press the like button. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to intermission.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, intermission. Yeah, intermission.
We're now entering, quite frankly.
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 Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly. Quite frankly. Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
We all support quite frankly.
Not quite.
Quite frankly.
Let's go, Brandon. Quite frankly, in Roma, Italia.
Quite frankly. You going on Frank's show tonight?
I want to get a Coke. Can I get a Coke?
So everybody watch. Quite frankly, with Frank.
Quite frankly.
How dare you?
Back. All right, we're back. Did you guys see the actual footage of the guy in the reflecting pool at the World Trade Center? The 33-year-old who had a bloody-ass leg, and he just kind of saunters up to the edge and lowers himself to the edge where he just falls in. You guys saw it? It's incredible. Especially that shot down the bottom when he finally goes under. You see all the blood coming from his leg. We covered that story not too long ago. It was right around the time where Israel's 9/11 happened. And then the video comes out. Like, this is just weird. Just so strange. Talk about the projected images. All right, Stove is on, quite frankly, superchat.com, kicking it off for the new week with Jay Britz. Stove says, great Monday night, Frank. Glad you enjoyed the time away with family and friends. God bless, brother. I did. There's a couple of streams on quitefrankly.tv. I actually on the Quite Frankly YouTube. I did the streams from YouTube. The coffee streams, and you can go check those out. Pulled in a good number of characters that you all love to see on the show. And then there is also then there's more. Hold on, let me go to Instagram real quick. I woke up to, I think it was on Sunday morning or maybe like Saturday afternoon. I got this special delivery on my Telegram from Al Gorbachev, who is one of the video producers for the show, and he cobbled together this little ditty. Have you seen this? Hold on. Here we go. Watch.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. As days go by, we're gonna fill our
go. Adirondack edition. I was so surprised when I saw that. It was cut so nicely. Oh, yeah, Aurora. I was looking around for Aurora, and she was at her desk. A desk. She turned it into her desk. She was doing her work. And if you go, I don't know what time it is in that stream, but I go up to her and I tell her, she was doing production work for the show. I said, call Abe. Can you call Abe and tell him that we need more microphones and more headphones at the studio? She said, okay. She's a very good worker. One day I'll put her to work. It'll be great. It'll be great. Can you imagine Aurora as the call screener? Had all these years of talking about who would be a call screener, king, this one, that one, and then all of a sudden, I can see her doing that. And I also see her saying, no, I don't want to work for you. But why would she want to do that? She'd have a lot of fun with me. Okay, let's go to some more calls, and I'm going to go into the super chats even deeper. Let's go to the top. On, quite frankly, the Rumble Rants. Clean Jack says, I can't believe Pence has another gay lover other than me. I'm devastated. I'm sorry, Jack. Another jilted lover of Mike Pence. He must be stopped. He must be stopped. Where is it? Okay. Jay Semo says, pussy freaks. That's worth something. Yeah, well, they are. That's from the beginning of the show. We got one more over there, then we're going to take some more calls. Jay Semo again, wow, what a show. Very intriguing, and WTF. I know. Sometimes that's what you get. The WTF you can't plan for, so I'm happy that I'm always happy when it happens, because it happens to me too. I'm excited, and then I get doubly excited because I know other people are watching, and they're probably having a good time too. Dark Heart Hemi says, replenish my wardrobe tonight. Question, why are my boxer briefs in a resealable? I don't know. Sean Joe, thank you. Witchy Poo, thank you so much. Jay Brewskis, great to have you back, Frank. Great to be back, Jay. I love being away and doing all that with the fam. But there's something about that peace and that refocusing that supercharges me for the work still to be done and always to be done. Witchy Poo, and thank you for everything. Stone Roller, thank you for the shades. Cookies and shades all the way around. Let's take a call. Caller, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, my name's Mike.
What's going on, Mike? Welcome to the show. How you been?
Thanks, man. Pretty good. How about you?
Not bad. So what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, I was maybe trying to bring this back down to a sane level. Me and my wife were just talking earlier today about the origin of the logo. I haven't been, I've only been with Frank for a couple years, maybe a couple years now. I don't really know what the origin
Michael.
of the logo is, the GETTR logo.
Wait.
I'm really curious about that.
Oh, the origin of the logo.
Yeah. The GETTR logo.
Okay. I thought you said the local. I said, well, the local is the origin. No, yeah. Well, the GETTR logo it's a very specific GETTR. It's the Stanzik portrait. It's the painting of Stanzik. It is of Polish origin and is the depiction of this famous court jester who is in a solemn state of contemplation and mourning while everybody in the background of this party is having a wonderful time. And you can see on the table next to him there is not a telegraph, but there is word from his hometown that it had been conquered and it had been destroyed in this war. So it's an incredible painting to me, and it got me to learn a little bit. I've since forgotten the details of this particular conflict. I think it's like 16th century or so, but it was just that imagery of the jester who otherwise is supposed to be this almost like an impervious, jovial a figure who is in a state of shock and mourning while everybody in the background is celebrating, and it's a wonderful disconnect, and I think very, very applicable to the times we live in. So over time, actually I sent that picture to a friend of mine, And it wasn't even had anything to do with the show at the time. And my friend Shannon cropped out a picture of my face from one of our old band photos and pasted it right in there. Just photoshopped it into the work itself. And I said, "Oh wow, that's amazing." And I said, "You know what? Can you just crop out the Jester head? We're going to just use it as a watermark somewhere." And then now it's just, I don't know. It'll always speak to the show's energy. So it makes a lot of sense for me, at least.
Yeah, no, okay, all right. I guess that that makes some kind of crazy sense. I don't know. Just was curious, so that's cool.
Well, I'm glad that you. I'm glad when people call in and want to know. But it's but yeah, thank you so much for that, man. And a great show, man. It's a really great show. All right, we're really enjoying it actually right now. So I'm glad. Well, all the best to you and your wife, and call in again, Mike.
I will, man. I'll see you.
All right, take care. Where is it? Where do we have? What is this? Interpreting Stangic. Well, first of all, here you go. There's the Jester. There's Stangic. On the table over there is word from home. You can see how distressed he is. You can see that even the carpet pushed back away under his feet, just kind of staring off, that kind of 1,000-yard stare. And in the background, you see the revelry of everybody partying. And it should be the other way around. It should be people who are, and I love it. It's wonderful. And you can go into the actual military history of what's going on there. It's actually right here. The Stangic is a 19th century, sorry, not 16th. Painting created by Polish artist Jan Matejko. That's going to be. The painting is currently housed in the Warsaw National Museum. Became one of the most acclaimed painters in Poland to successfully depict Polish history in a detailed and imaginative manner. The central character of the painting is Stangic, who was supposedly a famous court jester during the era of the Renaissance in Poland. Stangic is sitting in a dark room with his head bowed, and his appearance is unlike one would expect a jester, gloomy and deep in thought. This article would, and then it delves into the composition and what's going on there. Well, you can find a little bit of background of it. I think it's a really wonderful painting, and like I said, applicable. I think it'll always be that way. So while everybody else dances to the projected movie, I think we take a little bit more of contemplative approach to things. All right, let's take another call. 517, you're on the air. Who dis?
This is the holy driver, I guess.
Holy driver.
From last Monday's call-in, the only call-in on Monday last week. You wanted a follow-up. Remember I saw the Holy Spirit.
Oh yes,
driving a minivan.
Yes, I played that call for some of my my friends and family over the weekend. I said, you got to see where this call took a turn. I gotta say though, man, a lot of people were puzzled as to. I mean, obviously, like we said before, Jesus can drive whatever he wants, but why was he reading the Bible while driving? A, it's not safe. B, he doesn't need to read the Bible. He knows the Bible.
Well, I mean, that would be a question that has puzzled me.
Okay.
Well, really weird. The really strange thing about it is, I mean, the vehicle that I was driving was a 1988 Chrysler Voyager minivan.
Okay.
Donated from a church that my grandfather attended.
So
the weird thing is his van also looked similar to the make and model. And I guess you can never be too full of the living Bible,
I guess so. Okay, so listen. I am extremely limited on time tonight. What do you briefly want to expand on?
Okay. Well, oddly enough, Tuesday night's guest, Michael Collins, I sitting there watching, and I tuned in at like 9:30, and I'm like looking at his name and going, Michael Collins. Listening to his stories, I'm like, why the hell are these stories familiar? So I called up a mutual friend, and I'm like, hey, like, Martinez, is your military buddy, is your military brother on Quite Frankly tonight? He's like, I don't know, what's Quite Frankly? I'm like, oh my God. Okay, well, tune in Quite Frankly right now. And he looks, he's like, yeah, holy shit, that's Michael, dude. I'm like, no shit, is his number still this? And I read it off to him. He goes, yeah, he talked to me just a couple of days ago, said he was going to New York for something. And I'm like, no fucking way, dude. What a small freaking world, dude. And I that's why the stories sounded familiar. I'm like, what? I know this guy. Holy crap!
So you personally know Michael Collins? Imagine that. So you met him. You met him through your buddy years ago, then.
Yeah, actually, and I texted him right away. Like, it was like I texted him at like 9:47, and he's like, no way! Oh my God, that's awesome! I was like, what a trip! I'm like, you really want to trip Frank out? Tell him you know the call-in from Monday night's show. That'd probably trip him out.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Real quick, what I wanted to share was
that wasn't what you wanted to share.
No, I'm sorry. I can call back later.
Well, I mean, listen. If you can get it out in 45 seconds, just get to the point.
Okay,
it's all you.
I was last winter. I was out here in my man cave, taking care of some gardening.
It's already going too long.
Time of year.
It's already going too long.
And a moth flew out of my mouth. Dead of winter. I was in the middle of talking to a buddy of mine about some conspiracy theory stuff, and then ended up talking about God and the Holy Spirit and testimonies that we had. And as I'm talking, I felt like, phlegm build up in my throat, and I was like talking and like like that. And as I did that, I thought I hacked a loogie into my hand, and I went and looked, and it was a full-grown, big-ass moth flew out of my throat, and I have no clue how the fuck it got there. And I look across the table at my buddy like, did you just fucking see that moth fly out of me? He goes, I did, but I don't understand how. But where the fuck did it come from? It's in the middle of winter. Where that came out of my throat? What the hell? And there's the story. So I don't know. For what it's worth.
Oh, it was worth something. I'm really happy. Thank you for that. There you go. Wow. Just when you think, again, something told me, just let him get the punchline out. A moth flew out of my mouth. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And to think he's probably not done with the stories. We'll see what comes in next. Wow. Tonight was one hell of a show, huh? All right, 8:20. Let's go and see what else is on the. I'm just going to make sure I stay on top of these super chats because I don't want to lose any of them. Delona sent over a ship. Thank you so much for Delona. That's over on QuiteFrankly.tv. I hope more and more people go over there and hang out on QuiteFrankly.tv because you'll be right there to be able to accept the wonderful after-hours programming. Last night we had a little bit of a fun with Abbott and Costello. Frankenstein, Invisible Man. It's a good time for Sunday night programming. All right, let's go let's take one more call, shall we? Let's take a call. Hold on. 347, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Donna.
Donna, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, Frank. It seems like you're having a wacky night, so I had a story I've been dying to tell you. I was in motor vehicles back in the 80s. It's like right when I first got my driver's license, so it had to be about 83. And this lady in front of me had a military uniform on, and I guess the DMV, as they are, very helpful sometimes. I mean, not.
Yeah.
She was flipping out. You're not, doing what you got to do. Blah, blah. She started flipping out. She turns around and she said, "You don't know who I am. I work for Plum Island. I could tell you things. You better give me my license." And she looks at me, and I'm just a kid at the time. She frightened me. And she said, "You wouldn't believe what they're making on this island. They're pig people. They're breeding animals. They're making creations like you wouldn't believe. And I'm going to tell everybody." And I just always thought about it. I wish I knew how to research it more, but they're really making things on that island.
So Donna, I just want to make sure I've got all this right. You're working at the DMV in the 80s.
No, I was just happened to go there.
Oh, so you were online with everybody else?
Online, yes.
There was a woman in, you said military fatigues in front of you? She was
Yes, she actually looked like the old-fashioned wick. She had a skirt on, a little pencil hat. Yeah.
So she's there. She's there online with you. And she's getting what is typical DMV service, especially typical in New York DMVs.
You better believe it. Yeah,
and she's ahead of you.
Got something.
She doesn't like the service. It's taken forever. She's not getting the response she needed, and she started flipping out. And the first thing when did she start going off about, like, you know, it's one thing to say, you know, I'm gonna make a stink or this and that, but to start talking about how I work for Plum Island.
The first thing I heard her say was, well, you know who I am, right? You see my credentials. She kept saying her credentials. And then finally she just, like, threw her papers and walked to the side. She was going around, you know, being really angry. And then I just looked at her. I was like, you okay? And she just went off telling me all these secrets. And
oh, so she wasn't telling the person at the desk. She turned to you because you tried to comfort her, and and you gave her an out.
Say to them, you don't know who I am. You don't know the things I know. You should really be helping me right now.
Yeah, you should really be helping me. If you don't get my driver's license worked out, if you don't help me with my passport, I'm going to release the pig people. But okay, so Donna, you gave her an outlet for her frustration, and while you guys were talking, she said, "You have no clue. I work for Plum Island. They have pig people. They have what else?"
Oh, she said, "Oh, you wouldn't believe the creations. Anything in your worst nightmares that you think that they could do, they're doing. They're cloning. They just went off and off, and you know." It's been in my nightmares ever since.
I believe it.
And especially now these days, with, you know, the things that we know now, it's unbelievable. So I believe one thing I've learned now, I keep an open mind and believe almost everything these days.
Oh, I believe it.
Frank, I love you, and I'm glad you got to go up there. That's Lake George and Saratoga's our dream. We were supposed to go there when Rob retired, and we had 3 grandbabies, and I made him stay here. He was very upset because that's where we were supposed to run away to.
Well, go drive up. It's
yeah, no, we do.
Oh,
we
you
love
do?
it up there.
Okay, good.
Yep. We wanted to tell you, I know you like your Stewart's ice cream, but if you ever get up there again, you have to go to Dairy House, Haus. It is the best ice cream in Saratoga.
Okay.
The creamiest, and we are big ice cream fans, Robert and I. So, all right.
Okay.
Donna from Staten Island, you know, you always got a home if you're ever out this way.
Good. That's
Robert sends you a little something every night.
Oh, I know. You guys are amazing, and thank you, Donna, and thank you, Robert.
You guys.
Yeah.
And everything's good now, Frank. My daughter's talking to me again. I get to see my grandkids. You know,
wonderful.
All of a sudden things changed.
Well, hold on to them because you know we're going up the big hill of the roller coaster. 2024, You're going to want to keep everybody close to you. So it's glad that happened. Enjoy the holidays, please, and keep in touch.
Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Thank you, love you too. There's not if there was one borough that I would ever stay in, it would be Staten Island. Okay, so cream. What'd you say? Cream house, ice cream house, ice house. I haven't been to Saratoga since 2017. Went to Saratoga in August, either late July, early August 2017 for my buddy's bachelor party. Got an Airbnb up there. It was really great. Got to go see the, Benedict Arnold's boot. And I think that's the last time I went out to bars. Like, we went out to a couple of bars. And I was just like, this is exhausting. This is exhausting. Looking at everybody around me. Everybody's just slugging drinks and, dressed to the, dressed. Everybody's trying to, get laid. Like, oh, this is so exhausting. So exhausting. I was so happy when we went home. So we can just chill out on the front porch. That's the best part. That's what I like. Chilling. I can't do bar crawls anymore. Not for a very long time. All right. Well, that's it. Wonderful calls tonight. And you know, this is what sets it all apart. When you guys and gals just take a chance on me and call in and be a part of the show, I promise you, I'm a good driver. I'll take care of the rest. Just throw it at me. Throw it at me, because look what we created here tonight. Thank you to all the callers. And then, of course, we did a little bit before that. Tomorrow, there'll be more. Now, for those of you who are going to be joining us for book club, that starts in minutes. You have your unlisted link that is waiting for you either in your email, if you are a subscriber to the show, a sponsor of the show through quitefrankly.tv. It is also posted on Patreon and on Subscribestar, or if you are a sub on Foxhole. Remember, Foxhole is the fourth way to become a sponsor of the show, so that you get into all the universal perks, which is the Sunday streams, bonus streams like book club. There's a lot more of that coming your way, and more. So that's it for tonight. Tomorrow we'll get another one in, and I can't wait to see you all. Yes. That's all for tonight. All the best. Good night.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience, and now our super chatters, starting with Stostube and Jay Britz, and a wonderful group of callers on Rumble Rant. That's Jay Semo and Clean Jack. Yeah, two callers. I mean, two, but there's three. Two from Jay Semo, so it looked like there was three people. And hey, look at this. Look, a fantastic night over there on quitefrankly.tv, powered by Foxhole. Powered by Foxhole. Go and check it out, because the after hours is about to begin. Have a fun time with everybody, and I will see you guys soon. Good night.
Son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?